People with disabilities face many education barriers in today's society. Many Americans with disabilities face difficulties in accessing accommodations in education, which is something we as a society need to improve upon. Our university, Clemson, is taking steps to try to eliminate these struggles on campus. According to Priscilla Harrison's 2019 Internet article, Americans with Disabilities accessed April 20, 2019, Clemson offers resources such as ASL translators, equal opportunity employment, point-to-point transportation services, accommodated dorm rooms and facilities, and CAPS services for any students or staff receiving discrimination.
While Clemson is acting in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is an act that deems employment discrimination illegal, this is not the case for the entirety of society. So, we need to focus on ways to eliminate barriers for disabled individuals, as nearly 15% of Americans are disabled, as noted by the data sheet titled 2017 Disability Statistics Annual Report published by Disability Compendium in 2017. According to the Ontario Human Rights Commission's release to the media titled Main Barriers to Education for Students with Disabilities, accessed on April 10, 2019, these educational barriers include, but are not limited to, communication barriers, inadequate funding, physical inaccessibility, and lack of accommodations.
Beginning with communication barriers, these types of obstacles mostly relate to people with hearing impairments. They are unable to hear auditory health messages or learn in lectures that do not allow technological accommodations. These accommodations differ per institution in that not all institutions have enough money to accommodate every disabled student. If they do have enough funding for this, the institution's process to evaluate and obtain the resources can take an extremely long amount of time, in turn putting the students behind the non-disabled students in their education. For students who cannot learn from lectures due to their hearing impairment, school is like going on a hike without being able to appreciate the view. These physical resources are lacking in many institutions, and even if they do have them, it may still be difficult to navigate the institution.
There is a lot of delayed and diminishing funding for the elementary and secondary level education programs, causing them to lack many resources that would enable the disabled students to get around and access equal opportunities. The inadequate funds, which are typically in poorer districts, push more qualified teachers that the disabled students need toward wealthier districts for better pay. However, there are just as many, if not more, students with special needs in poorer districts that do not attract the well-qualified educators. Therefore, there are multiple barriers that keep disabled students from having the same educational opportunities as those without disabilities. Students with disabilities in these districts have two hurdles to jump over. Their school districts lack funding and qualified instructors, so they are at a disadvantage relative to other districts, and they have to also overcome their disability, so they are at a disadvantage relative to their peers. This should be a fair race no matter the district or ability level.
Many individuals with disabilities face barriers in health inclusion. This is due to their need of special accommodations. Mary Lynn Gioni's journal article, Cross-Disability Experiences of Barriers to Healthcare Access, Consumer Perspectives, published in the Journal of Disability Policy Studies on September 1, 2006, notes examples including attitudinal barriers, communication barriers, physical barriers, and transport barriers. Communication barriers include limited access to written material, such as large enough text, braille text, or videos without captions. Transport and physical barriers include absence of medical equipment that accommodates wheelchairs and curbs and steps that get in the way of those with mobility impairment. If there is a continuation of these barriers, then those who are disabled will continue to feel stigma. We call on you, listeners, to look at the example Clemson has set and take actions to ensure that your own universities and institutions are also providing accommodations for people with disabilities. Talk to your representatives, talk to your student leaders, talk to your peers. Together, we can make a difference and help fight for equal educational opportunities for all students.